So next up, we're going to look at human impacts on Earth's carrying capacity. What we're looking at here is a diagram of ecological footprint. Ecological footprint is a measure of the amount of productive land and water required to support a person or a population based on consumption levels. Calculation of an ecological footprint includes everything that is consumed and the corresponding waste removal. More affluent people or populations typically have larger ecological footprints. So what we're going to see that this is going to become, this size of the ecological footprint is dependent on not just the individual's needs, but also the size of the population. So what we have is a worldwide average ecological footprint of 2.7 hectaacres per individual. In the United States, we have a footprint of 7.2 hectaacres per individual, which is matched by matched by Mexico, and Canada is going to be almost as large as a 6.4 hectaacres. What we're going to find is most of the rest of the world has a significantly smaller ecological footprint. So there are certain things that play into our impact on carrying capacity. One thing is the agricultural advances, the Green Revolution. This was the development of high-yield crops and the use of modern cultivation methods. Great benefit of this. This is fantastic. We had a huge increase in crop production. So this is how we can increase the Earth's carrying capacity. We can make a given area more productive and produce more food. The downside is that it requires significantly more energy and causes more environmental damage. Yes, we can use irrigation, we can use high yield crops, we can use farming equipment to get more out of a particular plot of land, but that farming equipment requires diesel, requires fossil fuels, puts carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. It also, irrigation requires very expensive and heavy systems to put into place, plus requires the movement and the changes of waterways. So yes, we can make a particular plot of land more effective in producing crops, so that's good, but it does come at a bit of a cost, and that's just something that always needs to be balanced out or needs to be something that we're aware of. We've also been depleting our natural resources through desertification, which is the overfarming and overgrazing to transform marginal farmland into desert. Things like soil erosion. Deforestation. Deforestation is the removal of trees without replacing them. Tropical forests are going to be most affected by this, and it results in a huge decline in soil fertility. Overfishing also leads to the depletion of world fish populations. Worldwide, over 80% of fisheries are overexploited, meaning that they're not sustainable, they're not producing at capacity. We're also seeing things like water shortages. 97% of the Earth's water is going to be in the oceans, so fresh water is a scarcity, and it is becoming an emerging crisis. How can we get access to more fresh water, or how can we maybe desalinate the oceans? We have a set amount of water on this planet, and it's becoming saltier every day. Water footprint. Water footprint is an indicator of direct and indirect water use by person, locality, or nation. So things like direct use would be water at home. Indirect use would be water used to produce goods and services. Irrigation is amazing. It allows crops to grow in areas that otherwise would have been barren. However, the cost is salinization, meaning that irrigation water contains dissolved minerals that stay in the soil. When the water evaporates from the soil, salt accumulates. So worldwide, salinization destroys the fertility of irrigated land each year. As we wash more water in, we're washing more minerals in, the water evaporates from the leaves of the plants, but that soil stays in, or that salt, those minerals stay in place. And so our soil is becoming more and more salinated. There are steps that can be done to reduce water shortages, things like reducing water use or increasing the price of water could help decrease water usage. So those are just options. Pollution is another way that humans impact the Earth's carrying capacity. Water pollution. Via industry, contaminants, fertilizer, oil spills, above and below ground storage tanks that leak, some septic systems, waste sites, landfills, we are starting to see that some groundwater is now unfit for human use and cannot be made fit for human use. Surface water is exposed to things like mercury, PCBs, fertilizer, oil spills. This is not okay. This is rapidly depleting our freshwater resources. So we're also seeing things like ozone depletion. Ozone depletion is caused by air pollution. It's depleting some of that ozone layer. And the ozone layer is incredibly important. Ozone is going to be what traps UV light and protects the Earth from the harmful effects of UV radiation. The primary cause of this ozone depletion is going to be the presence of chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs. So they used to be really important in cooling systems, aerosol propellants, the production of styrofoam, and as solvents in the electronic industry. Between 1990 and 1972, industrialized countries agreed to phase out CFC production, which is good. The situation is improving. That ozone layer is slowly starting to come back, but it's going to be a very long uphill battle. So here is just a size of the ozone layer. It is recovering more slowly than they initially expected between 1980 and 2015 when these results were last published. So these results are a little bit old. But it is recovering. It is on the mend. We are starting to see that ozone layer increase.